quarter-mile west of the Bithlow Raceway. Online at armsroom.com.
AM 660, The Answer.
Get ready, Central Florida. It's Arms Room Radio. With Mike and his team from the Arms Room, conceal and carry, new gun orders, proper care, product updates, and your calls. Connect with Mike right now. 407-682-9595. 407-682-9595. Arms Room Radio is on the air. Now, here's Mike.
Welcome back, Arms Room Radio. How's everybody this week?
Doing good.
Everybody have a good week?
Oh, yes.
All right, what are we talking about this week? We're talking about all things guns. That's Arms Room Radio, all things guns. You can get us at 407-682-9595. 407-682-9595. Or Earl, where can they tweet us at?
They can tweet us at Arms Room Radio.
Tweet us at Arms Room Radio, or you can get us at on Facebook at armsroom.com. Excuse me. No, it's facebook.com/armsroom.
That's it.
Or 407-682-9595. With me this week, on my right-hand man, as usual, is the great. That's seven, right?
Yep.
Seven of them.
We can count.
Grandson of Daniel Boone. Ladies and gentlemen, his name is Earl.
Thank you.
Thank you, Earl. Also joining us this week is our legal expert, our courtroom assassin, the legal ninja himself, Kevin Maxwell.
That's hilarious.
How are you doing this week, Kevin?
Doing good, Mike. Thanks.
Good week at the office?
We've been very busy. Lots of new family law cases. Everybody wants to get ready for the fights over who gets to have what kid for the summer. Lucky. See, now my family was who you take them. No, you take them. So I'm not saying that's not what's happening. I just said there's a fight about who gets the kid over this one.
Wonderful. Glad you had a good week. Also joining us back this week is our guest, Alex Farrar of Veritas International. You remember Alex? Protective Services, confidential and private investigations, surveillance and counter-surveillance, training. Don't forget the training. Big on the training. And welcome back to Alex.
All right, Mike. Thanks for having us back.
Kevin, we want to jump right back into last week's topic. We want to jump right back into last week's topic. We ended with a couple of questions we promised we'd get right back into when we got on the air.
Right. I believe Tiffany had asked a question about the difference between using a golden saber or a black talon round versus a full metal jacket round.
Correct.
In reality, that's probably going to have very little impact in the criminal proceeding because it's going to be whether you did or didn't shoot someone. Now, with that understanding about the fact that you discharge the firearm in the direction of a given person and you hit that person, which ammo you used is probably not going to make any difference. Unless you used a full metal jacket round and it penetrated that person and hit somebody else. And that's one of the side effects of full metal jacket ammo. And I think you probably, or of the people in this room, you are probably one of the folks that can probably explain the military applications of full metal jacket and why they're important, and why that is the only ammo allowed under the Geneva Conventions to be used in combat. The other possibility is that if someone's shooting at you from inside a car, as we discussed before the show today,
right,
and you fire back at them with what is normally considered a soft tissue round that doesn't cause overpenetration when it strikes a person, so it doesn't go through the person and then through a wall and then into a bedroom of a house. It may not necessarily penetrate the car door that you're returning fire toward. It may hit it and fall to the ground. And I believe what you were talking to me about before we started the day was some of the information you've received about the shooting that took place in town.
Not too long ago.
Yeah,
there was the type of ammunition used for the type of target. Going back to what you were talking about with the military, we use full metal jacket rounds, ball ammunition. We do so because of the Geneva Convention and our adherence to it. Ball ammunition is the the purpose it serves under Geneva Convention is it's the least damaging round to an individual.
It's supposed to be humane.
It's a humane round. It doesn't go in and tear flesh or it, it leaves one cavity, one round in the front and out the back, on design.
Out the back's the problem.
Yeah. That's the problem with out the back. With a full metal jacket round, a ball round, it goes in the front, out the back, and then in the front of the person behind and out the back of the person behind, and then probably in the front, maybe we'll stop there. But it depends on, all the factors involved, the type of round, how far away the shot was, the feet per second upon impact, everything that has to do with it. The problem with the military person, and I can tell you from military experience, is that full metal jacket round, may not disable the target. It may be more than one round required. Which is okay. That's a military training thing.
And one of the reasons is that you want to cause a wound, so you take the person you just shot and two of his compatriots to attend to him out of combat.
Exactly. Right, exactly.
It's a force multiplier.
Correct. Whereas in the civilian world, in law enforcement, Alex, you can help me with this, we don't want that. We don't want the round to travel from the front to the back, out the back, into the schoolhouse behind, or into the passing car full of nuns.
Correct. The vicarious liability, we want that.
Correct.
And that's why, although it may not make any difference in the criminal prosecution, it may make an enormous difference in the civil prosecution, because the person that got hit by that round after it passed through your assailant wasn't your target. Correct. And that may be considered an act of negligence because you used ball ammunition when perhaps a fragmentary, something that's a frangible, if you will. Yes. That something that's not going to overpenetrate may have been a more appropriate round for the purposes of self-defense.
That's why the hollow point is considered the defense round.
Right. Now, there are times, and don't forget to give us your call, 407-682-9595. Correction, 407-682-9595. Give us a call. Ball ammo does have a place, for specialized units. We used it doing domestic security on perimeters, vehicle barriers, entry control points. A hollow point round, if you shot at an engine block, would pancake against the engine block and not necessarily stop it. The hollow point. A ball round or a round with a penetrator would pierce the engine block and disable the vehicle. Yeah, but it was specific purposes, to go through and stop the vehicle, not the person. Right. Now, if you happen to shoot that round at the person, you're also going to get the same effect. But you're in a deadly force encounter at that point anyway. So
my recommendation is that you use a quality self-protection round in your firearm. That is a defensible position. You don't have to worry about collateral damage, if you will, of that round penetrating your target and then striking someone you didn't intend it to strike. And that's one of the things I think we talked to Alex about last week before we were on the air, about his in-house training, where he'll come to your home with some of his team and he will run through a scenario in your own dwelling of how you would defend your dwelling and what particular parts of your house are no-shoot zones.
And we'll go over your round selection. Very important. Your weapon selection, your round selection, and cater to your specific location and situation. And what I mean by that is whether you have kids or not, in-laws in the house, the type of building structure that you have. Those are all things that you should take in consideration when you're purchasing that round and that weapon.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I can't think of a defensive weapon that where you'd want other than a ball ammo in a civilian market. Hollow point ammo on a civilian market. You want hollow point ammo. You want the hollow point ammo. You want to maximum effect to the individual target that you're shooting, and you also want that stopping power
and not the overpenetration.
Correct. And if you're going through a wall, if you're in that house, you want even that drywall to slow down or stop that round because you don't want the collateral damage. Mm-hmm. You want to be able to.
But you got to remember that other side of that wall could be your kid.
That's exactly
or
right.
Your significant other.
Exactly right. The other thing, and I think maybe Tiffany was pointing out or trying to get to this point, because I remember her specifically asking about black Talon ammo. And Alex probably remembers this one. When they first came out with black Talon ammo and it was a law enforcement only ammo, it was a big deal about it being black Talon.
the devastation that it caused, supposedly.
The point of that ammo was that most police officers are shot with their own firearm.
Right.
You take a black Talon round from a police officer's gun and you shoot it into his vest, it stops faster than any other round there is in the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because of the way it's designed, it can't penetrate body armor at all. It doesn't even transfer a lot of kinetic energy to the body cavity. Ball ammo can go right through body armor.
Right. And let me clarify. I'm going on the word black because this was a high time when it came out, and they were making an issue of it. That why is it got to be black? You're naming something black so you can go out and shoot black people. This is when it came out. I remember it came out, and this was the issue, and they ended up pulling all our ammo back, and they renamed. Yeah, they took off the color. They renamed it Ranger Talon ammo for that only reason.
Same ammo.
It was also the same time where all of our targets on the range were black silhouettes. If you've gone to a law enforcement range in the past 10 or 15 years, what color are they, Alex?
The blue, man.
They're blue now because we no longer have the subliminal message to shoot at black people. That was the times. Now we've all grown up a little bit, although some people that own the Clippers evidently haven't, but the rest of us have all grown up and put that behind us.
I think he has a green AR-15.
Yeah, exactly. 407-682-9595. 407-682-9595. We had another question, Kevin.
The second one was, if I have to use my Class 3 item in defending myself, we don't recommend the use of full autos. Again, that tends to put too many rounds downrange, and quite honestly, attached to each one of those is a lawyer.
Yes.
I mean, that's the reality of the circumstance.
Right.
But use of a suppressor, use of an SBR inside your home, and that's one of the things I'm going to talk about is that I think anybody who's going to consider using a firearm in self-defense needs to run themselves through the what-if game, be out at the range with a range buddy, with an RSO, a range safety officer, stress yourself physically, and then fire 3 rounds through your weapon without hearing protection, and then try to call somebody on the telephone. So you can see how hard it is to hear. But the issue with regards to your Class 3 stuff, keep in mind, no matter what it is you use, law enforcement is probably going to take that weapon into their possession.
Absolutely.
And so they're going to take it. If it's a Class 3 NFA-regulated item, they're going to notify the ATF. The ATF, probably an 85% probability, is going to initiate a forfeiture proceeding to take that back into their custody because there's an allegation of a criminal act.
Even though it's just an allegation.
Yeah, even though it's an allegation. They don't have to convict you criminally to be able an administrative forfeiture. So you're going to need to get someone on board in a hurry because even if you're not criminally charged, under Florida law, if you don't get that weapon back within 30 days, it's the sheriff's to dispose of as he wishes. He will give it to the ATF, and then you've got to go through the administrative hearing process to get that thing returned. So you need to have somebody on board right away. And that's one of the things we offer through our firm is that if you get accused of a criminal act and you get put on pretrial release, every firearm you own has to be surrendered.
Right.
If you give it back to the sheriff, you may not get it back.
Right.
You can give it to us as officers of the court. We put it in our storage facility, and we hold it for you until your charges are cleared or until such time as we determine what the status of those items are, and then we can liquidate them for you, or we can hold them in trust for your family until such time as they're capable of taking them back into their possession.
So you can legally hold firearms in lieu of the sheriff holding them so they don't end up full of scratches, full of misdamage, rust because nobody cared for them, put a coat of oil on them, mismatched, dropped on the floor because you're a gun owner and you understand what a family gun heirloom is.
We do it all the time.
Okay. Excellent.
If I could add to that real quickly, Mike, going back to last week as well, we had someone tweet in late in the show that we couldn't get to. Was wondering how would they get your law firm on retainer, Kevin?
They can reach out to us at maxlaworlando.com. We'll set them up with an appointment to come in and talk about what it is their concerns are, what they need to have in the way of protections. They can reach us at Facebook /Downtown Attorneys, or they can tweet us at maxlaworlando. Or they can reach us by phone, 407-467-4960, and we'll schedule an appointment to come in and talk about what their particular legal concerns are and have us on standby in case they have to defend themselves. They'll get a business card from my associate. Our cell phones are on the back of our cards. All of our clients get our personal cell phones, and those phones get answered 24/7.
Yeah, and that's amazing, folks. If you've ever had to speak to an attorney or deal with an attorney, usually it's through the answering service. You call the office and they'll get them a message, but this is the gentleman's cell phone number. It's both numbers for both attorneys, so you can get a hold of them when you need to. Give us a call, 407-682-9595, and we'll see you on the flip side.
It's your lawn. Look, it's time you started paying attention to me. I've got this bald spot. I'm not nearly as full and green as I should be. You need Laylou's Landscaping and Sod Surface. Their trained professional team has everything we need to make me the envy of the neighborhood. Besides, do you really want to spend all of your free time with me?
No.
Well, I'm not going to lie. That hurt a little.
Laylou's Landscaping and Sod Service. Call 407-692-7047. That's 407-692-7047. Get 10% off your first month service when you mention Arms Room Radio. Laylou's, a proud supporter of the Second Amendment. Cracked asphalt is not only unsightly, it's a hazard. Lawyers make money every day representing clients who fell on other people's property. If you've been putting off repairing your sidewalk, driveway, or parking lot, don't. Protect yourself while making your property look new again. Seal Coat Florida patches, stripes, and resurfaces parking lots, walkways, and driveways. With over 20 years' experience, Seal Coat Florida offers free estimates, flexible work schedules, and guaranteed professional service. Call Seal Coat at 321-358-SCFL. That's 321-358-7235. Online at sealcoatflorida.com. Seal Coat Florida, proud sponsor of Arms Room Radio.
Have you been thinking about buying an AR rifle? Maybe for hunting, sport, or even home protection? There are a lot of them out there on the market. It seems like everybody and their brother has an AR out these days. So why should you choose an Arms Room AR rifle? Well, there are at least two major reasons. One, the Arms Room AR rifles are made by veterans and first responders, men and women who know what it's like to depend on a rifle when protecting life and liberty, and the AR rifle in their hands has to function right the first time, every time. Two, the Arms Room AR rifle is made right here in Central Florida with the highest quality materials and standards. Chances are your Arms Room AR may not ever be used to defend life and property. But if it comes to that, wouldn't it be comforting to know that it can? Shop the Arms Room today and check out their vast selection of handguns, shotguns, hunting rifles, Liberty gun safes, and the Arms Room AR rifle. The Arms Room, East Colonial Drive, a quarter-mile west of the Bithlow Raceway. Online at armsroom.com.
You're listening to Arms Room Radio. Call the Arms Room Radio hotline right now. 407-682-9595. 407-682-9595. Arms Room Radio is on the air. Welcome back to the show.
AM 660. The Answer.
Now, here's Mike.
Welcome back to Arms Room Radio, 407-682-9595. 407-682-9595. Earl, what do we got going on at the shop this week? And I understand we've still got some used gun inventory we are trying to clear out there.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We are offering 10 to 15% off on all used inventory.
Wow. That's a good, no fakes, no double stickers, is this weekend's price.
Nope, we didn't raise the prices just to mark them down.
Wow, okay, all right, yeah.
We left them the way they were, and we're marking them down.
You know how I know we didn't do that?
No.
I could barely get the guys to price them once.
Yeah, I know.
Trying to do it two times, it's just... Mm-hmm. Now, who we got out at the shop this weekend?
This weekend, we've got our usual Saturday Faithful crew.
Saturday Faithful. We got, that would be Tim.
Yep.
Tim and Connor.
Yes.
The Marines.
Yes.
The Marines. We should say their names again because they're Marines and they want to make sure they heard them right.
Do they have nameplates yet?
Yeah, they're probably out there making all sorts of doggy noises now, going and refer.
No, they just pull their dog tags out and read them.
Yeah, that's me. That's me. And then we got one grunt out there, one Army guy.
Yep. Matt.
We got Matt. All right, Matt. Keep them straight. Help them with the multi-syllable words there. What do we got out there for inventory this week that we're getting rid of? We've
got a wide selection. Let me just touch on some of the high points here. We've got not high point.
No high points.
No high points.
No, I don't think we have any high points. Yeah.
Here. Just some topics. We've got some
high points are great. I mean,
Cerakoted high points.
Sometimes, look, so if you got like a little canoe or a dinghy and you're looking to tie up along shore and you want to
use it as an anchor.
Use it as an anchor to hook around some mangrove roots.
Could be a use.
High points are good for that.
Yeah. Actually, I heard I actually read an article about those, and they make a great throwing device.
They do.
At 7 yards, you can hit the center of mass overhand pitch every time.
Yeah. High Point's got a great qualities to it.
Some of the better ones we have out there. We've got Beretta, some Winchester, some Remington, Smith & Wesson, Sig Sauer, North American Arms, and I believe we still got a Dan Wesson out there. I think we've got a nice Dan Wesson
I think that's
357 Magnum revolver.
6 or 8 inch Dan Wesson.
I think so, yeah.
She's a beaut. She's a beaut, Clark, that's for sure.
Good revolver.
I think that Sig combo is the mid-size and the compact, or the full-size and the compact, where you can
yes, it is.
Swap the guts out and move it back and forth from one to the other. It's like 2 guns in one. That's at 19048 East Colonial Drive. 19048 East Colonial Drive. It's in East Orlando, a quarter mile west of the drag strip. Kevin, last week, I think we left off with, we were talking about scenario number 1. Scenario number 1 was on the phone with 911. I heard a noise. I pick up my phone, and I tell the 911 operator, I hear a noise. And I get the bad guy coming in the house. Or I have the bad guy outside breaking into my car, which is 2 different scenarios. I guess it'd be scenario 1A and scenario 1B. But let's go with scenario 1A, where they're coming through the house. Now, they're at the precipice of the residence. We're at the door, we're at the window, we're at the garage door, wherever we are. And I'm on the phone with 911, and I've said, I've got my gun. I hear somebody outside.
Well, you should say that to the person that's on the other side of the door.
Okay.
Not necessarily to the 911 operator.
All right.
Now, you want to make sure that the 911 operator realizes that you sincerely need their assistance, because you're trying to call the 911 operator with a singular purpose. You want somebody to respond to your home to investigate a crime, and that crime is the one that's being committed against you. Right? That's what you're trying to accomplish. You don't need to share a lot more information with the 911 operator other than to get them to come dispatch law enforcement to your location for that purpose.
Can the 911 operator order you to do something?
No. But
there's so much recent
there's
here
a big
in Florida.
thing about in the news with a recent case that happened in Seminole County that the victim in this case was told by 911 operators to do or not to do something. The 911 operator is not law enforcement. They can't order you to do or not do anything. Right? If that were the case, then the 911 operator could say, give the person who's robbing you your gun. And you'd have to.
Right. Even so, the dispatchers, the people that work the desk, and completely an underloved job, and they do an incredible job.
Exactly. Yeah.
But they're not sworn law enforcement officers. Even if they were, could a sworn law enforcement officer order you to do something over the phone?
No, they couldn't. They don't have any legal authority over you. Their job is to keep you on the phone as long as possible and gather as much information. With that in mind, what you need to keep, and this is where we play the what if game again. This is an opportunity for you to make sure that you memorialize through that recording everything you think you need to have said to explain why you did what you're going to do. All right? They're recording you. Even if they tell you, I'm going to place you on hold for a moment, it's still being recorded. Everything you say to your spouse. I'm not going to tell the people on the radio today what they should say. All right? If they want to make an appointment, they can make an appointment through Veritas and go through their training class, and I can come to that location and I can give them my briefing on what they should say. They can come take my class, and I'll give them a briefing on what I think they should say. But just like you train to do a certain thing with your firearm the right way every time, you should also train your speech. And that's why I said, go to the range right before you leave, 3 rounds, no hearing protection, and then try to call somebody on the phone. You are not going to be able to understand what's being said to you on the phone. So you need to have learned a speech that you're going to give every time. Just like law enforcement officers, they know Miranda. They don't have to read it off a card. They've heard it on television. They've said it so many times. They don't need to read it. You need to have a speech prepared that explains what you need, why you need it, as part of your what if game.
Right.
so that the high points, the things that you need to make sure that are said.
Okay.
And then if they won't, if you're in the midst of trying to defend your home, hang up the phone. You don't need to be trying to talk to the 911 operator while you're also trying to defend your family against someone trying to break into your home.
They'll call you back.
Yeah, they absolutely will call you back.
So you have the speech.
I have what I believe is the appropriate things that you need to make sure are hit when you talk to law enforcement.
These are the things that law enforcement needs to know.
Right.
Okay. This is the kind of thing we'd learn in Alex's class also.
It is.
This is the kind of thing we'd get if we came to your office and made an appointment and wanted to discuss legal aspects of firearm ownership, Class 3 ownership, or if we just wanted to talk to you more about the topic.
The reason why this is important is that you want to make sure that these things are memorialized, because they're going to make my job easier in defending you if a state attorney decides to prosecute you or if somebody's family decides to sue you.
Absolutely.
Right.
Kevin, Alex, how can they get a hold of you?
They can reach us at 407-777-0447. That's 407-777-0447. Or Alex at oneveritas.com. Our website again, oneveritas.com. That's ONEVERITAS.com.
And you can get us all here at Arms Room Radio at 407-682-9595.
Selection of handguns, shotguns, hunting rifles, Liberty gun safes, and the Arms Room AR rifle. The Arms Room, East Colonial Drive, a quarter mile west of the Bithlo Raceway. Online at armsroom.com.
You're listening to Arms Room Radio. Call the Arms Room Radio hotline right now. 407-682-9595. 407-682-9595. Arms Room Radio is on the air. Welcome back to the show.
AM 660. The Answer.
Now, here's Mike.
Welcome back, everybody. You know, we ran a little contest last week on we needed a website name for Leilu Landscaping.
Yes, we did.
We needed a website name. We came up with a couple. I think we had Big Sexy Lawn Man.
We had one tweeted in.
What was that one? What was
from Mike's Bikes? We had Big Lovin' Lawn Care.
Big Lovin'. Oh, you know, I think Big Lovin' Lawn Care might be it. I saw one that said Sexy Sweaty Lawn Boy. I did see that. But I like, what was that one again, Earl?
Big Lovin' Lawn Care.
Big Lovin' Lawn Care. Okay. All right. Big Lovin' Lawn Care. Make sure you get us your information. That's a T-shirt. That's for sure. Big Lovin' Lawn Care. We're going to take care of that one. Also joining us today in the studio, he's sitting in the back. I understand this is where Kevin keeps him at the office a lot.
He's my librarian.
We've got Alec Weber. Alex, also a top-notch attorney in this field. Alec, we just want to let you say hi, shout out, say
hi.
Hello. There's Alex, Alec, everybody. We got Alec and Alex.
That's right.
Don't get them confused.
Alec is affectionately known as the Samurai Sidekick.
Samurai Sidekick. Legal Ninja Samurai Sidekick. I'm glad we have extra legal representation here today because there was some legal precedent set last week. We established that if you want jewelry,
you have to be first.
You have to call into the show.
Yep.
You have to call into the show. You have to. What's that?
Specific word is call.
Call into the show. It must be a call.
Text.
No text. Texts don't count.
Tweets don't count.
Tweets don't count. I have two attorneys now telling me the same thing, and I'm just going on case law here.
But as I mentioned, we are a full service law firm. And we do family law as well.
Full service law.
And if your wife wants to call us, we'd be more than happy to talk to her about the proper petitions.
Yes, excellent. Maybe we work something out. Maybe she'll call you on the air because evidently she's not calling me on the air.
She's not hearing this right now because she's not listening.
That's correct. Probably so. What are those words? What's the recorded speech? What do we need to be saying? I'm at my home. I have them about to break in. What do I need to be telling law enforcement?
You need to make sure that you've described yourself and everyone else in your household.
Okay.
We're home. This is who's here. Then if you can, and as we talked about last week, describe the person or persons that are trying to break into your home. Alex just shared with me an incident that he had where he rolled up on a home invasion and the two perpetrators walked out the front door of the house acting like they were the homeowners. Hey, there's people inside.
Yeah.
People will lie to the cops.
Yeah.
You believe that?
I can't.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
The second scenario is that you haven't called 911 yet. It catches you by surprise. You've been engaged in, or you're not on the phone. Perhaps somebody else in your household is on the phone, and they haven't had. Your wife's in the bedroom. She has no idea what's going on. She just says, "My husband heard a noise. He told me to call 911 from downstairs, and I just heard a gunshot." When that happens, you're going to have a screaming wife. You're going to have some screaming kids. You're not, quite honestly, going to be able to engage in much of a telephone conversation with anybody because the likelihood of you wearing hearing protection while you're in your house, having had to use your firearm to defend yourself, is very, very remote. And if you had the time to put on hearing protection, it's going to look extraordinarily suspicious to law enforcement that you went to the trouble of, getting your rifle out of your safe, putting on your hearing protection, putting all your tactical gear on so that you're sitting in your living room.
And clear lenses.
Yeah. Safety goggles and all that's going on. That's going to look peculiar.
Right.
If, in fact, you've had the opportunity to do those things, at the first time that the assailant sees you, he is probably going to grow a brain and decide to leave for another part of the world as fast as possible.
Yeah, grow a brain or make a stain in his pants, one or the other.
So you haven't called 911. You've had to discharge your firearm. There's somebody laying on the floor. We talked about, rendering aid or not rendering aid. This is what you need to understand. That 911 call that you were about to make or that your wife has made, she needs to know, or anybody else in your household needs to know what not to say and what to say to that 911 operator, because that's the first step in the case against you.
It's not you're trying to hide anything. It's the way that it's put.
That's right. It's not. We've all seen My Cousin Vinny.
Right.
There's an interview of Ralph Macchio. The deputy asks him, "Why'd you shoot the clerk?" Ralph Macchio goes, "I shot the clerk? I shot the clerk. I shot the clerk?" Now, he's a Ute, right? He's asking a question. He's incredulous at this accusation. What did the deputy write down? The defendant confessed three separate occasions. Right. He shot the clerk. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. And transcripts don't reflect
emotion
or inflection in your voice. Right. So that 911 tape is going to get transcribed. What you want to make sure of is that what's said on that recording helps and doesn't hurt you. But this is also an opportunity to do something else. Unless that person is in need of immediate medical attention, and you will be able to tell pretty quickly whether or not this fight is over and whether there is anyone else involved that's going to be coming to his assistance to try to further invade your home.
407-682-9595. 407-682-9595 if you want to join the discussion, or they can get us at
Arms Room Radio on Twitter.
Take a moment to calm yourself down. You're about to make the most important phone call perhaps in your entire life. Get your breathing under control. Get yourself settled down. All right? Make sure that everyone else in your household is calming down. All right? That they understand they're no longer in any danger. Get them away from whoever it is that's on the ground that you've had to discharge your weapon into. There's no reason for your kids or your wife to see that person, unless one of your kids happens to be a registered nurse or a trauma surgeon. They probably don't need to be around that person. Right. Just stay away from it.
Right.
Remember, this is also going to be considered by law enforcement a crime scene. So don't touch anything. Don't move anything. Don't move things around. Don't change your clothes. I mean, if you're naked, put something on, but don't change your clothes. Prepare yourself for the fact that law enforcement's about to arrive, and when they do, you're going to have to go outside. They're probably going to, as Alex has pointed out, they're going to take you down. They're going to take you into custody. They're going to handcuff you. They're going to conduct some interviews. That's where you start with your recitation. I called you. We called you. We're the victims. I will give you a statement as soon as I receive a medical clearance. I get looked at by a doctor. I make sure all my children and my wife have been checked out. And I've had a chance to speak to my attorney. That's the most important things you can say. But you also want to make sure that law enforcement, through the dispatcher 911, knows where to go and who they're looking for. Right.
Come down the road, go to the cul-de-sac. I'm the last house on the right.
Exactly. Now, what you don't want to do is, and as we were talking about during the break, you hang up the phone. You're in the business of trying to defend your family. 911's going to call you back.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Don't refuse to answer the phone. Because if you do, they're going to come in there with a tank. They're going to surround your house with the tac squad, and they're going to wait until you all walk out one at a time.
Now, answer the phone when you can.
That's right. Not in the middle. Not in the middle of
administering first aid or defending yourself.
That's right. Right. But once it's safe to do so, respond to the 911 dispatcher. Because quite honestly, as I think both of the law enforcement professionals in the room can tell us, they're not going to come knock on your door and go, or tap on your window going, "Hey, could you come outside now?"
No, absolutely not.
They're going to get on the 911 operators.
They'll be relaying their information through the dispatcher.
So my recommendations are, if you've got somebody else in the household with you, all of you go out together. And if you're the person that had to discharge the weapon, you've safed the weapon, it's somewhere in your house, put away. I mean, don't go lock it in your safe, but put it down somewhere. Don't be having it on your body unless you're not sure who outside is or isn't law enforcement.
Do not come out with it.
Don't have it in your hand. That's a fast way to the hospital.
Yep.
One way or the other. It's a fast way to the hospital. Right. Take a hold of your spouse's hand in one hand and your child's hand in another, and all of you walk out together with your hands, not necessarily over your head, but up to where they can see that the only thing in your hands are their hands.
Right.
It also is going to reduce the likelihood of you getting a body slam to the ground in the process of being taken into custody, because what they want is they want to go home.
Yeah.
And they don't want to go home with any holes in them. So they want to get everyone they can out of the house, secured, and then they want to go in and see what else is going on.
Yeah. Now, if you live alone and you don't have a wife, you don't have a child, and you come out, hands up, hands not up, just be prepared. You're going to be secured.
That's right.
Until they can sort everything out and figure it out. It's not the time to argue and say, what am I being detained for?
Don't start
I'm the
quoting
victim, and I'm this, and I'm that.
Right. Don't quote the Second Amendment.
Yeah.
All right. I have my rights. I have my. That is the wrong speech to give. The speech is the speech. I called you. This is my home. This person tried to break in. He's in this part of the house right now. My firearm is in this location. I will give you a statement. I will press charges. I would like to speak to my attorney before I do anything else.
And also important on that is, if you do have your spouse and someone else in the house and you get injured, God forbid, in this altercation that you had, you want the paramedics to come in as quick as possible.
That's right.
And they're not going to come in until the police call it safe.
Right. The police aren't going to let the paramedics come into the house until they've secured the scene.
Right.
Excellent. Earl, we heard anything from the guys at the shop today?
Nothing.
Did we tell them about the bonus program?
I thought you told them.
I thought you told them.
No, I told them.
You told them?
Oh, okay.
Kevin, you told them?
I told them.
Alex, did Kevin tell him?
I believe Kevin.
It was Kevin. Kevin that told him? Well, then we know what happened.
Because
he made him sign and swear
as
to it.
Earl's tried to imply, I'm there every Friday.
He made him sign and swear to it. This is we're new to this, but this is what's called a teaser, I'm pretty sure. Next week here on the program, some breaking news about the Bahia Shrine in Orlando. So next week, there's going to be some breaking news right here on this program. You heard it here first, folks. Next week, breaking news, Bahia Shrine here in Orlando. Huh? Is that good? Does that sound right?
That sounds like a teaser.
Does that sound like a teaser?
You finally made your induction?
No. I'm not sure if it's called an induction there.
Yeah, I'm up. I'm not up on my
But some breaking news coming
More
next
of a
week.
catechism.
Okay.
Give us your calls, 407-682-9595, 407-682-9595, and we'll see you on the other side of the break.
Have you been thinking about buying an AR rifle? Maybe for hunting, sport, or even home protection? You know, there are a lot of them out there on the market. It seems like everybody and their brother has an AR out these days. So why should you choose an Arms Room AR rifle? Well, there are at least two major reasons. One, the Arms Room AR rifles are made by veterans and first responders, men and women who know what it's like to depend on a rifle when protecting life and liberty, and the AR rifle in their hands has to function right the first time, every time. Two, the Arms Room AR rifle is made right here in Central Florida with the highest quality materials and standards. Chances are your Arms Room AR may not ever be used to defend life and property. But if it comes to that, wouldn't it be comforting to know that it can? Shop the Arms Room today and check out their vast selection of handguns, shotguns, hunting rifles, Liberty gun safes, and the Arms Room AR rifle. The Arms Room, East Colonial Drive, a quarter mile west of the Bithlo Raceway. Online at armsroom.com.
Hi, it's your lawn. Look, it's time you started paying attention to me. I got this bald spot. I'm not nearly as full and green as I should be. You need Lay-Loo's Landscaping and Sod Surface. Their trained professional team has everything we need to make me the envy of the neighborhood. Besides, do you really want to spend all of your free time with me?
No.
Well, I'm not going to lie. That hurt a little.
Lay-Loo's Landscaping and Sod Service. Call 407-692-7047. That's 407-692-7047. Get 10% off your first month service when you mention Arms Room Radio. Lay-Loo's, a proud supporter of the Second Amendment. Cracked asphalt is not only unsightly, it's a hazard. Lawyers make money every day representing clients who fell on other people's property. If you've been putting off repairing your sidewalk, driveway, or parking lot, don't. Protect yourself while making your property look new again. Seal Coat Florida patches, stripes, and resurfaces parking lots, walkways, and driveways. With over 20 years experience, Seal Coat Florida offers free estimates, flexible work schedules, and guaranteed professional service. Call Seal Coat at 321-358-SCFL. That's 321-358-7235. Online at sealcoatflorida.com. Seal Coat Florida, proud sponsor of Arms Room Radio.
You're listening to Arms Room Radio. Call the Arms Room Radio hotline right now. 407-682-9595. 407-682-9595. Arms Room Radio is on the air. Welcome back to the show.
AM 660. The Answer.
Now, here's Mike.
Welcome back, everybody. Arms Room Radio. Talking about all things guns. We're talking about shotguns. We're talking about gun paper, gunny bags, gun locks, gun slingers,
Gun smoke.
Gun locks.
Gun locks.
Make sure that if you've got small children in your house, you secure your firearms. Just had a case that I saw on the news over in Geneva. Some kid took his dad's .45 to the school with him. Secure your firearms from your children.
Not only that, educate them. That's one of the biggest things. Educate your kids.
I've taken my kids out, and they fired everything I own, and then I made them clean it.
Yeah.
And then I made them clean it again. And after the third time, no more mystique to a firearm at all.
That's it.
Their friends that come over, hey, your dad has guns?
Yeah,
can we go shoot them? Sure, but you have to clean them.
Take the curiosity out of
That's it. Make it nice and clean. You know what's as good as a nice clean gun? A nice clean parking lot.
Oh, yeah.
Seal Coat is Florida. Your specialist for asphalt repair and preservations. Listen, these guys over there, and we're going to have this guy in soon. He's a big-time local shooter. His name's Remington. I mean, how cool is that?
You just cannot be a shooter.
He's a gun guy. His name's Remington, and he's going to be in here. And within the next couple of weeks, we're going to be talking about competitive shooting in Florida. We're going to get into some of the fun stuff. Give them a call at 321-385-SCFL. 321-385-SCFL. Hey, and don't forget Big Love and Lawn Care with Cole. 407-692-7047. 407-692-7047. That's Big Love and Lawn Care. Cole Lelu. Give him a call.
You know, I imagine his wife is hearing this and just beating him with a sandal right now.
She could do it, too.
She could, yeah.
She's not taking any gruff.
No.
She's not taking any at all from him. Earl, I understand we've got a gun show coming up soon.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Where's that gun show?
That is in the Mineola, Claremont area. It's at the City of Mineola Recreation Center out on South US 27. It's in June 28th and 29th, Saturday and Sunday.
I think that's the first time Claremont's ever had Mineola's ever had a gun show.
So. I think so, yes.
I think that's right. I think that's coming up soon. You know what else I heard about that weekend? Because the gun show's on the weekend,
right?
And we're promoting a gun show,
right?
I think there's gonna be a little live remote action going out at the gun show on that weekend. Yeah. Yeah, a little live van, all of us sitting in the back together, holding hands.
I hope it's a big
That's a little
van.
tight.
I hope it's a big van.
It's like a bus.
It's a bus?
I hope so.
Hey, 180 pounds of radio sex appeal right here. Okay.
The mic makes them smaller.
That's it.
Strange dimension in which you
it.
live. It's a string theory, like you're flat.
It is. It is. Kevin, if they get a hold of you, what kind of attention do they get when they call you or they call Alec? Do they get, you just going to, all right, I got a little problem with my neighbor, with my landlord. We just giving them a little bit of effort. We just giving them what's needed here. I mean, it sounds like you're a pretty big shot lawyer down there. Not a lot of time on your hands.
That's what we call ourselves, Max Law. You want the maximum effort. This is who you call. You call maxlaworlando.com. I cannot guarantee results, but I can guarantee effort. And nobody tries harder to accomplish your goals in your legal matters than we do. I mean, everybody's got legal problems. It happens. And everybody's got a little legal issue, unless it's yours. And then it's not so little anymore.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a big deal.
The truth.
You get sued by somebody for even so much as a credit card. It's a big deal to you.
Yeah.
We're a full service law firm. We defend people from all forms of litigation, and we prosecute all forms of litigation. We represent consumers. We do landlord-tenant. We do foreclosure defense. We do all forms of family and criminal law. It just so happens that I have a very intense interest in firearms issues and firearms defense, and I do a lot of National Firearms Act-related defenses. That's one of the things that comes as a result of you using me to provide your trust, is that if at any time your trust is ever accused of committing a criminal act, I defend that in the Middle District Federal Court for free. So
this is not just one of those trust mills. Come in, buy a trust, be out the door, see you later, go get your gun.
No, you can't do mine online. You're going to have to meet with me. We're going to review all the things that are important that you need to have addressed in your firearms trust, who you're going to have as your alternative trustees and why. And we're going to make sure that it's set up to accomplish your goals with both your estate planning and the avoidance of additional taxes that you might have to pay in the future or your estate might have to pay in the future.
Okay.
Oh, we got sound effects.
Yeah, sound effects. It's good.
This is big time now.
The 911 call. When you're back on the phone with a dispatcher, don't just clam up. Don't just clam up when law enforcement gets there. There's some things the police are going to have to know, right? We called you. That's the first thing. You want to make sure that they know that you're the person who got attacked. Point out anything that you want them to collect in the way of evidence. His knife is in my bedroom or in my living room somewhere. I saw it. It's there. Or he had a gun. Or this is where he broke in my door. Or this is where he kicked in my window. Or this is, you see where I'm bleeding? This is where he hit me.
Right.
That's his bag of burglary tools. Point out whatever it is that you think that they need to make sure, because they don't know what's yours and what's his. They have no idea. They walk in your house. They don't know what your house looks like inside. Identify the people that saw what happened. If it's in a parking lot and, all they saw was somebody shot somebody else. They don't know what happened. Tell them those people saw us. They heard what was said. Get that information together. Those people are going to leave once this is over. And without their statements, it may just be what he says you did and what you say you did. Don't use politically sensitive terms. You're going to be excited. You're going to be completely freaked out. Don't use the wrong words to describe what it is you're trying to get across. Because remember that this comes down to you being able to articulate the reasons why you took the steps you took. And that articulation is going to be the thing that makes the difference between you being prosecuted and or sued later. And that's why you have a chance to make a record with law enforcement in the 911 recording, in your statements to law enforcement, in your written statements, and the way you present yourself. You want to make sure that you appear to be a responsible individual who took the course of action that was available to you as a last resort. And as you pointed out, do I need to make sure law enforcement knows I was afraid for my life? If you didn't, then you shouldn't have been pulling a trigger in the first place.
Absolutely. Kevin, how do they get a hold of you and Alec?
You can get a hold of us at maxlaworlando.com. You can reach us at Facebook at Downtown Attorneys, or you can tweet us at maxlaworlando, or you can reach us on our phones, 407-467-4960, and that line's monitored 24/7.
Wonderful. Thank you again for being here. Thank you, Alec, for stopping by.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Alex, how do we get a hold of you?
Again, 407-777-0447. OneVeritas.com. It's ONEVERITAS.com. And let us prepare you for the reality of today's brutal society. That's our motto.
Folks, these are great supporters of the Second Amendment, great supporters of the show. If you've got any calls or questions, give them the call, and they'll take care of you. Maximum effort, and Veritas is going to make sure you're taken care of right.
Don't forget 15% off the entire month of May on all training courses.
Outstanding. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks for having us, Mike.
This week's fallen hero is Army Corporal Michael B. Alleman. He died February 23rd, 2009, serving during Operation Iraqi Freedom. He was assigned to 5th Squadron, 1st Cav Regiment, 1st Stryker Brigade Combat Team, 25th ID, Fort Wainwright, Alaska. He died of wounds sustained when insurgents attacked his unit using small arms fire. He was 31 years old. Mike left his job as a popular 5th grade teacher in 2007 to join the Army. Alleman of Logan, Utah was one of 3 soldiers killed when insurgents attacked their unit using small arms fire. He joined the Army in January of 2008 and was assigned to Alaska's Fort Wainwright later that year. Alleman was a corporal with that 1st Stryker Brigade Combat Team. His unit arrived in Iraq in September 2008 for a year-long tour. His family remembers him as a funny, strong man with a sense of purpose who believed in the military effort in Iraq. He was doing what he needed to be doing, Alleman's wife Amy told the Deseret News. He went down taking down the bad guys, and he wouldn't have wanted it any other way. Family friend Sadie said Alleman was close to his family and kept in touch with them regularly. Even though he was in Iraq, he called and sent packages and checked his wife's blog, she told the Daily Herald newspaper in Provo. Alleman taught at Nibley Elementary School in Cache County from 2005 to 2007, according to school officials. He was the epitome of a soldier. Bill Laudner, a former Nibley Elementary principal, told the Salt Lake Tribune. That's what he wanted to do more than anything else. Teaching came second. The only thing that didn't come second was his family. Samantha Larkin was a student in Alleman's class. She said he told his students he was joining the Army, noting that President George Washington had left his career as a farmer to take up arms. He said that George Washington was his hero. Alleman survived by his wife Amy and their 2 sons, Kai and Kenneth. Amy, if you're listening, just know that people think about you and think about Mike every day. That's it this week for Arms Room Radio. Don't forget to join our friend Mark Walters tomorrow night on Armed American Radio from 8 to 11 p.m. Best radio out there. Best radio out there. Second best radio. Don't forget to catch the end of the Rays game if you're listening. Rays are up or down 3-5, bottom of the 7th. Go Rays, come on. And Earl and I, we have to say thank you to the Solar Bears this year.
Yes, we do.
Big fans of the Solar Bears. We've been to many, many games. We're season ticket holders. Thanks for a great team. And I think we'll see you all at the Burger Fi up in Lake Mary. If you haven't eaten there yet, you're wrong. Thanks again. We'll see you next week on Arms Room Radio.
AM 660, The Answer. WORL, Altamont Springs, Orlando. A service of Salem Communications. Intelligent, conservative. AM 660.